Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will show you my investment portfolio, my net worth, and my progress toward achieving FIRE, financial independence, early retirement. It's been a few months since my last update, so this one was definitely due. And I will show you all the assets I invest in with all the numbers updated to the end of October 2025. So let's get started. So here we are. This is the Excel spreadsheet where I track the evolution of my net worth and my investment portfolio each month, at the end of each month. For example, in this column, you can see the numbers updated at the end of October. My uninvested liquidity, so just money that I hold in my bank accounts, is not changing a lot. I'm keeping it stable more or less. This was, for example, at the end of July, the end of August, the end of September, the end of October. As you can see, more or less is stable. There is not much difference because basically all the money that I'm saving, I'm trying to invest them. So that's why there is not a big change in my uninvested liquidity. So let's move to the second category, which is bonds and invested liquidity. You can see it here. Under this category, I include both bonds and invested liquidity, like for example, money market ETFs, like this one. Xeon, the ETF, X-Trackers, overnight rate swap. But I also own a lot of Polish treasury bonds. Basically, I'm financing a large amount of Polish national debt. No, just kidding. But I'm living in Poland, so I like to have a large amount of Polish zloty invested. And these are giving me around 5-6% of yearly return. So I'm quite satisfied with that. Some of you asked me why I own so much bonds, because as you can see from the numbers from the end of October, I own almost 200,000 euros of bonds and only 161,000 euros of stocks. Well, that's because I need to have more flexibility because I'm planning, probably not next year, but in the near future, I'm planning to buy another property here in Warsaw. I already own an apartment, but I'm planning to do another investment in the real estate market here in Warsaw in the future. Apart from that, I am an entrepreneur, so I know that my profession, let's say, it's very risky. And that's why I want to have more protection with my investments. I don't want to speculate, I don't want to go all in with stocks or other risky assets. It makes me feel safer. Now let's move to stocks. As you can see, I own a total of 161,000 euros of stocks, and the largest positions are definitely the iShares Core MCI World, but also the Vanguard FTSE All World. I hold the first one on the broker De Giro, and the second one partly on De Giro and partly on XTB. These are the two main investment platforms that I use to hold my ETFs. Apart from these two ETFs, I also own some value ETFs, emerging market ETFs, small cap ETFs, and also some smaller position on Nasdaq or S&P 500. But yeah, as you can see, the largest positions are definitely on global market ETFs, which gives me a more predictable return over the long term. Let's move to the next category, which is peer-to-peer lending. I invest in peer-to-peer lending with two platforms, which are Mintos and Bondora. About Mintos, I also made a review a few months ago. If you didn't have a chance to watch it, I invite you to do so. I'm very satisfied with Mintos because it gave me, like, in the last 6 years, probably I've been investing in Mintos for the last 6 years now, and it gave me an annual return of 8%, I guess. Of course, I own just a small amount of money invested in Mintos and Bondora because peer-to-peer lending is riskier than ETFs. But I like to have a part of my portfolio invested in loans. So as you can see, my portfolio with Mintos and Bondora is growing each month in a regular way, so I'm quite satisfied with that. Let's move to gold. Gold is really performing well in the last months. I think I didn't invest anything in gold in the last 4 months, but as you can see, the value of my gold holdings went from 26 to 32,000 euros. Because I think gold is having its best year probably from the last decades. And I'm very happy about it because it gave me a return of almost 2,000 euros all in the last month. And I hold some gold DTC for different gold DTC and also a 50-gram gold bar. That's it. Let's move now to the following category, which is real estate. And under this category, I only have my flat in Warsaw. Its value didn't change. I didn't update it. So there's nothing to say about it. Next, we have cryptocurrencies. And I hold a total of around 16,000 euros, more or less, of cryptocurrencies, mostly in Binance. This is because I believe in the future of Bitcoin and other cryptos, like, for example, Binance Coin, Ethereum, Solana. I also own smaller amounts of altcoin, but yeah, basically, I don't want to have a large amount invested in cryptocurrencies because they are too volatile for me. So I think these 16,000 euros are okay for me considering my total net worth, but I wouldn't like to hold more than that. So I'm fine with this. In the last 4 months, there wasn't a big change in my cryptocurrencies holdings. So let's say crypto stayed more or less stable, but there was a huge volatility. At last, we have some other positions that I hold in Mintos and XTB. These are like a mixed portfolio, stocks, bonds, and its value didn't change a lot. I didn't invest anything new in this. And so here we can see now the totals finally. My total investments are 428,000 euros at the end of October. But my net worth is 632,000 euros. So there is a net worth change of 11,600 euros. I want to explain you now the difference between my net worth and the total invested. My net worth, of course, is the sum of all the categories that we have seen together. But my total invested actually doesn't consider my flat in Warsaw and doesn't consider the uninvested liquidity. So I can say that the total invested, these 428,000 euros, are my actual investment portfolio. I want to briefly show you the evolution of my net worth. As you can see, I started to count in 2008, and each month I calculated the evolution of this net worth. Until 2020, I almost didn't have anything, and my net worth started to skyrocket, actually, together with my business. When I started my company and started to earn quite well with this, I immediately invested in the financial markets and started to do it regularly. And now I'm really seeing the results. So also this month, I achieved a new all-time high of my net worth. Now I want to show you how my FIRE journey is progressing. As you can see here, I'm considering only the total value of my investment portfolio, not my net worth, because I'm not considering the categories of my net worth which are not generating potentially a revenue. I've chosen a safe withdrawal rate of 3.5%. This is just an hypothetical safe withdrawal rate. I'm not withdrawing anything at the moment. I'm just accumulating, by the way. And considering this safe withdrawal rate and the total invested value, at the moment I could already start withdrawing 1,249 euros per month. And as you can see, my average monthly expenses at the moment are around 1,159 euros. So I could potentially already start living off my investments and stop working, but I definitely don't want to retire yet, especially because I have a planned monthly expenses of 2,000 euros. At the moment, my expenses are quite low. First of all, because I already own my apartment, so I'm not paying a rent every month. and this is already helping me a lot to keep my expenses quite low. But I have to say that I also live a simple lifestyle and I don't spend much money. But this could easily change in the future, and my expenses could increase if, for example, I decided to start a family. So I want to have a planned monthly expenses of at least 2,000 euros. And as you can see, to have the possibility to withdraw 2,000 euros each month from my investment portfolio without depleting this investment portfolio, I would need to have more money. It's not enough, this 428,000 euros. I'm only at 62% of my FIRE progress. If instead I'm considering only my current expenses, I'm already FIRE and I could retire. Now let's finish off with my asset allocation. These are the percentages of each asset class in my total net worth. So here I'm not considering only the investment portfolio, but also the other categories of my net worth, which I didn't consider in my investment portfolio. So for example, cash and real estate. As you can see, I have a 6% in cash, 32% in bonds, 26% in stocks, just a little bit more than 1% in peer-to-peer lending, 5% in gold, 26% in real estate, and 2.52% in cryptocurrencies. What do I think about my asset allocation? Well, I'm quite satisfied with that. I would probably just like to have a little bit more of stocks, and I will try in the next months to increase it, but I don't want to go over 30%. A 30% I think will do work for me. And basically that's it. So thank you for staying with me until the end. I hope the video was interesting for you, and if you don't want to miss my future updates, I invite you to subscribe the channel. Bye!